Well, I'm wearing my felties, my son's given me a Roinek, and we've just had a Baie Lekker braai, so we can only be in one place, and that's South Africa. We're actually in the Paarl wine region, a few k's up from Cape Town, and at the fantastic Vondeling estate. And I'm here with a number of the Oyster World Rally owners. They've already crossed 3 oceans, they've done over 20,000 nautical miles, they've been to over 24 amazing destinations en route, and I'm very glad to have with me now Hugh from Acquire, and I've got Ross from
Infinity.
Thank you. And we're going to be asking them some not so tricky questions, and hopefully getting some interesting in-depth answers. So to kick off, they've only got a couple more days here before they head off to St Helena, having been here for Christmas in Cape Town. So an easy one, gents, to start you off with. You've been a year now. It's been almost a year to the day since you left Antigua. What would you say, if you could narrow it down to one, would be the most amazing experience you've had in that year?
I think for me the most amazing experience has been in the Tuamotus. I hadn't been through passes where you get phenomenal currents due to the atolls filling up with water over the reefs. It's a real challenge navigation wise, out of the comfort zone, but just beautiful, stunning locations. So the Tuamotus for me, where we had a fabulous time. I could go on and tell you more, but was definitely the place for
You're
me.
not alone. A lot of people have said that's like almost life-changing.
Yeah.
How about you, Ross?
So I would have to say Fiji. And I spent about 30 minutes swimming with this huge manta ray, which was one of the things that I had wanted to do from the get-go. And it was just absolutely mesmerizing.
Really?
Yeah, it was beyond special.
And if you had an opportunity to go back to any of the places that you've been, which one would you rush back to?
Well, so that's a great question, and we all ask each other the same question, and I would have to say Fiji, because it is so vast that there's just endless things to do there. You don't scratch the surface.
Really?
I mean, one of the surprising things to me about the rally is how incredibly quickly it goes. I mean, it just flashes by, and I know people that have spent 2 and 3 years in Fiji and don't feel like they've really seriously touched it.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's.
Hugh, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I would share Ross's view that Fiji is incredibly special. I mean, I think for me, the Pacific Ocean generally, I would like to go back to French Polynesia. Sadly, we couldn't go to the Cook Islands because of COVID, so I'd like to visit there. And yeah, I would also want to revisit Fiji. It was just stunning. The Lao group, the eastern group of islands in Fiji, are just amazing. The people so friendly, so generous.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, wonderful place to cruise and to enjoy the people and their scenery.
Now, you mentioned the Pacific Ocean. You've done some amazing passages. Which one would you say was the most challenging?
That's an interesting question. I'm going to slightly finesse that one, and I'm going to say one of the most enjoyable passages for me was up the east coast of Australia from Cairns to Thursday Island. Fantastic wind, great navigational challenge between the inner and outer reef, shipping lanes, fantastic wind. That was great. Most challenging, to be honest, was probably from Reunion to Durban and Durban round here to Cape Town.
Really? Why was that?
Probably because there's a little bit more upwind. The Oyster World Rally, as you know, is about a lot of downwind sailing, and you're facing the depressions coming up from the southwest against the Agulhas current going to the southwest, and so your timing has to be right, and the winds can be quite strong. And the current, certainly, we experienced over 5 knots of current in the McCulloch's current.
Right.
So it was challenging. The great bit for me was the last 24 hours, we had 35 knots of wind on the starboard quarter. Obviously well reefed, but we were doing 9 to 12 knots for a solid 12 hours. Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
Ross, how about you?
You know, it depends a lot. It's going to be different for everybody because it depends on what the weather throws at you. But for us, and for me personally, it was rounding the Horn from Durban to Cape Town. I mean, we had 45 knots of wind sustained for several days with 3 to 5 knots Anguillas. We hit a couple of record-breaking speeds of over 20 knots on our on our 565. And plug for Oyster, it handled like it was just razor sharp smooth, and the only thing that scared you was looking to see how fast you were really going. It said it's time to take some sail down. So
well, that segues me nicely to the next question. You know, you both spent a year on board a new Oyster. It's been home for you.
Yep.
How's it been? How's the yacht been for you?
It's been like home. Literally, it's been a very comfortable home. All boats have their issues, and we bumped into some of those along the way. We've had good support from Oyster, by and large, throughout all of those. But one of the things that attracted me to Oyster, and I think attracted all the owners to Oyster, is the quality of the interiors.
Okay.
I mean, it's brilliant. The workmanship that goes into the interior, and it makes it feel probably more comfortable than some of our homes back home. So, yeah,
That's great to hear.
It's been very comfortable.
How about you?
Yeah, and for me, I would share Ross's view. I mean, it has been a great home for me. And in terms of the sailing, I mean, just referring to the speed that Ross has, the boat just solid as a rock. And I know I've had friends and family crewing with me the whole way around. Some of them have been a little bit nervous at looking at the speed. I'm saying, guys, but just feel how steady she is. You know, she's just so wonderfully steady. So you feel incredibly safe. And that for me has always been when I've bought boats. You know, got to have a boat is a kind of get you home boat, and certainly Akora, my 565, is one of those. So she's been fantastic, but as Ross says, there are always issues on boats.
Sure.
And I would one of the things that particularly attracted me to Oyster was the after sales support.
Yeah.
And you know, the support teams that are here with the rally have done a fantastic job.
Yeah,
That's really great to
absolutely.
hear.
Yeah,
I mean,
great.
for us, that's an integral part of why people want to do this World Rally, because of the support we give, as well as the quality of the yachts in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
I've got a couple of questions from people who've emailed them in.
All right.
This is where we do a seamless edit.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know who's going to field which one, so whichever one of you feels confident. Jeff asked, what do you wish you had known before the start of the rally?
So I'll give you a second to think about a better answer than mine, but my answer would be how incredibly fast it goes by. It honestly will be over before you have any idea you really got going. And so really putting the time in the editor, I mean, all of us are so busy that you show up for the rally and you've just been scrambling to get everything squared away. But if you can take the time to really plan ahead and try and understand some of the things you want to get out of the rally, you'll be better served.
Very good. You?
Yeah,
You've had your few seconds.
yeah, I've had
to
my
think
few
now.
seconds. Thanks
This
for that,
better
Ross.
be good.
I think, it's the, despite the wonderful support that we get from the on the administrative side as well as the technical side from Oyster, it's the, if you like, the administration in terms of immigration, all the forms, all that stuff. I had not really investigated or thought about that enough. So I can't emphasize enough to anyone who's thinking of doing it, you know, talk to people, research it, planning, thinking about all these things. But that for me was the thing that came as a surprise, was the amount of time I do form filling as the owner and skipper of the Victoria.
Right.
Just to add to that, I think, you know, so many people start with a trip around the world and you go, well, shit, I've never done this before. So, you know, but pick up the phone, get contacts of people that have done it, and get a hold of them and ask them specific questions, dive into some of the things that you really want to personally know more about, and you'll have a better experience as a result of it.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's really great insight, guys. Anne asked, this is a great question, what character trait is most important for a circumnavigator? I'm going to start with you this time, Hugh.
Well, I think sense of humour is a good one.
Okay.
Sense of humour and a cool head. Look, there are always going to be problems on a boat, and they're always going to occur at the worst possible time. And therefore, having a bit of a sense of humour and being cool about it is what it's about. You don't want panic, so sense of humour and a cool head.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, I mean, I would just springboard off of Hugh's comments and say that a positive attitude and patience will get you through pretty much anything. And pretty much anything is going to get thrown at you.
That's great. Okay, last question. Simon asked, what has been the biggest surprise?
Whoa,
Apart from this question.
Apart from this question, right? What's been the biggest surprise? Wow, the biggest surprise for me. I guess
You're going to tell me it's just gone so seamlessly.
It has gone pretty seamlessly, to be honest. But I guess the biggest surprise is that I guess personally I was probably pretty concerned about doing ocean passages and circumnavigating, and the biggest surprise is just how relaxed I can be on an ocean passage. You know, when you're on a good boat and you've got the right kit, and also, I can't emphasize too much, prepare, think about the kit you've got on board and how you can maintain it, etc. But my biggest surprise for me is probably how well I've coped with it.
Very good. Okay, last words then with you.
Yeah, the biggest surprise. Yeah, there are a number of them, but I would have to say the appreciation for being disconnected from the world.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Where, I mean, we started this rally worried about whether we're going to get into places because COVID was still going crazy and everything. You get out in the middle of the ocean, COVID doesn't exist. Politics doesn't exist. It's very refreshing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a real opportunity actually to take a step back and
just
review everything.
think about what you want to think about instead of having the news media determine what you want to, what you're going to think about.
Of course.
Yeah.
I would definitely like to add to that and just say I absolutely endorse that. And so many of the crew that I've had on board have said, look guys, just forget about internet connectivity. Just one of the great advantages of doing this is that you are disconnected from modern day life.
Yeah.
And that is part of the experience.
Yeah.
So you've got to alter your mindset, not to be constantly looking at your phone.
Yeah. Right.
You know, and just enjoy the fact that you are out there.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Gents, thank you very much. Hugh, Ross, and from me, Ashley. Farewell. Todd Sins from South Africa, and we'll see you next in St. Helena.
Thank you.
Okay.